What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm an Olympic bronze medalist, two-time Olympian, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, other various sports, and of course, motivational and encouraging videos. If this is something that you might be interested in, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. I have a big goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And with your help, I know that we can get there. I also want to give a big thank you to everyone that has liked, commented, shared, and subscribed to the channel in the recent week. Look, love the comments. I see them all. Keep them coming. I really appreciate you guys taking the time watching the videos and sharing your thoughts. So love and guidance, and let's get into this video. So a friend of mine messaged me the other day and said, Akeem, who's your top 5 favorite heavyweights? And I said, man, that's a great question. A tough question, but a good question. So I figured I would make a video about it. But before I do, I would love to hear some of your thoughts. Who are some of your favorite, keyword favorite, heavyweights of all time? Let me know in the comments section below. And maybe this can be a recurring thing and we can go down and go through all of the divisions if you guys would like to see that, of course. But let's get into my top 5 favorite heavyweights of all time. So here we go. At number 5, Smoking Joe Frazier. Look, Joe Frazier was a problem back in the day, right? His style, I felt like, was ahead of his time back then. How he moved his head, his bend at the waist style of defense, how he weaved and delivered that left hook was a thing of beauty. Now, he wasn't a traditional fighter in any way. He didn't cut off the ring very well. He basically weaved his way into close range to land his shots. He flowed to his own style, mixed with his rhythm and his timing. It was tough to plan for, right? Because when you think of like a dance, usually there's like, choreography, there's beats, there's cadences, but Joe Frazier, he had his own cadence, right? And you really couldn't figure him out. It was almost like a broken dance with broken steps, but it worked for him. He made it fluid. It was just so different than anyone else back then. I mean, when was the last time that you saw a cross block style of defense, right? I don't think I've seen that since him, and maybe and you can correct me if you've seen it, but I haven't seen it since then. And let's not forget the power he distributed from his stances in his hands. His leaping hook when he connected was, man, that was punishment for anyone. I mean, do you remember his 3 fights with Muhammad Ali? Arguably the greatest trilogy of all time, right? While he may not get the love and respect that he probably deserves, and I kind of credit that to the fact that he was in the same era as Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, right? But for me, Smoking Joe Frazier comes in at number 5. Number 4, George Foreman. Man, when I think power, right, many fighters come to mind, but at the top of that list, definitely top 3, is George Foreman, right? He's an imposing force. He's big, he's strong. He reminds me of that old X-Men character, Juggernaut. That's what he was like in the ring, right? He was just physically stronger than his opponents. That thumping right hand, when he throws hooks, it probably brought shock, like the aftershock probably brought shock to people's spine and chills down their body when he hits you, right? Your best bet is to move around the ring and try and stay away from George, because if he catches you, right, with that long reach and power, like, it's a wrap. He's too strong, too much power. You know, his style isn't a pretty style. It's a brawling style. I'm coming forward. I'm going to meet you in the middle of the ring, and let's see who is the tougher person. Let's see who is the stronger person. And 9 times out of 10, George Foreman is going to win that, especially when he was in his prime. Personally, you couldn't pay me enough money to stand in the ring with that man for 3 minutes. No way. George Foreman, for me, number 4 on my favorite heavyweight list. Let's get into number 3, Mr. Larry Holmes. I got the opportunity to meet Mr. Holmes last year, and I got to sit with him and ask him a few questions and talk a little boxing and life with him. And he just seemed like a good-spirited man. Took a picture with him. If you'd like to see the picture, then you can check out my Instagram. Handle is @UnderdogAKH. It's also in the bottom here. Now, I think Larry Holmes might be one of the most underrated heavyweights of all time. He defended his title 18 times. He won 48 straight fights. Right? When you look at Larry Holmes' style, you probably see 2 people, at least I do. You see a little bit of Muhammad Ali, which you would expect because he was Muhammad Ali's longtime training partner. right? But then you also see a little bit of George Foreman in there. He intertwined the two and developed his own style, right? That piston-like jab followed up with that right hand and that thumping power. He's big, he's strong, and more of a skilled boxer than people might think. He was a special heavyweight, how he flowed around the ring, how he used lateral movements and control the pace, and that leaping jab, that was just a thing of beauty, right? You talk about speed, quickness, power, skill, and precision. Larry Holmes comes in at number 3 on my favorite all-time heavyweights. Number 2, Iron Mike Tyson. Look, I want to start by prefacing this. Mike Tyson is my favorite boxer of all time. His mentality alone separates him from anyone else. He did things for his size that will make you think, wait a minute, how did he do that? How does this man generate this much power from close range? His peekaboo style technique was masterful, right? The first time I seen the peekaboo style was from Floyd Patterson, right? But Mike Tyson manipulated it and took it to greater heights. He came into that ring with bad intentions, with so much anger and aggression, yet so much composure. He was scary. He was intimidating, but he was a beautiful fighter, right? We know he's a knockout artist, right? We know when Mike Tyson is fighting, when he was fighting, we know that you have to stay in your seat. You can't go get a drink. You can't go use the bathroom. You can't get a bite to eat because his fights didn't last long, right? We know that the power and the knockout style is there, but what about his defense? What about the way he moved in the ring? How about how quickly he could close the gap and he was so fluid, how he can bob and weave and change angles and hit you with a barrage of shots from a body shot to an uppercut. Man, it was beautiful, beautiful. Mike Tyson, my favorite boxer time. And honestly, I think if Cuss didn't pass away and Don King didn't come into his life, I think he would have finished his career undefeated. Mike Tyson, number 2 on my favorite heavyweight list, but he's my favorite boxer of all time. Number 1, the greatest, the Louisville Lip, Muhammad Ali. For me, and I'm sure many others, the reason why Muhammad Ali was so great was because of what he did inside the ring, but also what he did outside of the ring. One can argue that his figure grew for what he stood for outside of the ring than what he did inside of the ring, right? But inside the ring, I mean, the man, again, he was ahead of his time. The thing is, he wasn't the biggest puncher, wasn't the best defensive style, right? But the man made it work for him. He floated, he stung, he did it just like a bee, like he said, in the ring. His movement frustrated opponents in an era, right, where most fighters, there's not a lot of movement. It's just a slugfest. It's just mano a mano. It's who's stronger, who's a more imposing force right in the middle of the ring. Let's fight it out and let's see who is going to come out on top. Of Muhammad Ali, how he moved around the ring, how he was fluid, how he controlled the pace, how he controlled the rhythm, how he put that jab out and quickly slid out, how he would use his mind and play tricks on you, how he was a self-promoter, the original self-promoter. Right. The volume of punches, the quickness of punches that he would land from close range, that I will not quit inside this ring attitude made him tough to beat, especially when he was in his prime. Right. He talked a good game, but he backed it up. He's a force that we will remember in boxing forever because of what he did in the ring, but for what he meant outside of it. Muhammad Ali is number 1 on my favorite heavyweight of all time. Let me know some of your favorite heavyweights in the comments section below. I would love to know some of the names that you have. Who is in your favorite, right? Your favorite. It doesn't have to be the best statistic-wise, but your favorite heavyweights of all time. Please let me know in the comments section below. If you've been watching this long, then do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share, and I'll see you next time.